My name is Drew, and Mexico was supposed to save my marriage. Instead, it destroyed it. When I booked that trip, I wasn't trying to run away from life. I was trying to rebuild it. 3 years of marriage, endless arguments, fake smiles in public. Everyone said a vacation would fix things. Go somewhere warm, relax, find each other again. So I did exactly that. The moment the plane touched down in Cancun, I looked at Rachel, my wife, and told myself this was a new beginning. The way she smiled back, I believed it. For the first time in months, I thought maybe she still loved me. We checked into a beachside resort. White sand, blue water, everything looked like the picture of perfection. She laughed more than usual, held my hand, kissed me in front of strangers. For 2 days, it felt like I was living someone else's life, one that still had hope. But love has a way of dying quietly before you even notice. It started small. She'd take her phone everywhere, even to the bathroom. She'd stay up late, scrolling. I told myself not to overthink it. I didn't want to ruin what we had left by being paranoid. But sometimes your gut screams what your heart refuses to hear. The 4th night, she said she wasn't feeling well and skipped dinner. I went alone, sat under dim lights with a drink, and watched couples laughing together. Every sound, every smile reminded me of what we used to be. When I got back to our room, she was out on the balcony, phone in her hand, whispering. When she noticed me, she hung up so fast I almost didn't catch the panic in her eyes. She said it was her sister. I nodded and pretended to believe her. The next morning, she wanted to go for a walk. I said I'd join her, but she smiled, that practiced, distant smile, and said she needed alone time. That's when something inside me changed. I waited a few minutes, then followed. I stayed far behind, walking along the shoreline, pretending to take photos. She didn't see me. She was moving fast toward the far end of the beach where the resort staff usually went to smoke or rest. And then I saw her stop, next to one of the resort bartenders. He smiled, she laughed, and then she kissed him. For a moment, everything stopped. The sound of the ocean, the tourists, the music, all of it vanished. It was just me, standing in the sand, watching the woman I loved melt into another man's arms. I can't describe what that moment felt like. It wasn't just pain. It was humiliation, disbelief, a knife twisting inside my chest while I couldn't even scream. I didn't confront her. Not there, not yet. I turned around and walked back to our room, my hands shaking, my chest tight. I didn't cry. I just sat there for hours, staring at the wall, waiting for her to come back. When she did, she acted like nothing happened. Her hair was wet. She said she'd been swimming. Her perfume was stronger. She said she'd got too much sun. I didn't speak. She didn't notice the silence. That night, while she showered, I checked her phone. I'd never done that before, not once in our marriage. The first message I saw started with a heart emoji. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Same place. Heart. The sender's name was Javier. No last name, just that. I stared at the screen until her voice snapped me out of it. She called my name from the bathroom, soft, innocent, like she wasn't destroying me one text at a time. I put the phone back, pretended to sleep. She lay down next to me, her skin still warm from the shower. I could feel her heartbeat against my arm. I remember thinking, this is the woman I built my life around, and she's not mine anymore. When morning came, she smiled, kissed my cheek, and said she was heading out early. Spa day, she said. I nodded, watched her leave, and then I followed her again. This time, I stayed further behind. She walked quickly, same direction as yesterday. My hands were sweating, but my mind was cold, steady. She reached that same hidden cove behind the rocks, and there he was, Javier. They kissed again, longer this time. I could hear her laugh between breaths. I lifted my phone, clicked once, then again. Proof. My whole world fit into those 2 photos. I didn't feel anger yet, not sadness either, just emptiness. the kind that makes your chest feel like glass. I walked back to the resort, called room service, and ordered 2 drinks. She came back an hour later, smiling, pretending, lying. I poured her a glass, and she didn't even notice the silence between us. That night, I sat on the balcony, staring at the moon, replaying every memory of us. Every I love you, every fake tear, every promise. And then it hit me. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't even done. She was going to meet him again tomorrow. And that's when I decided I wouldn't confront her. I'd expose her. That night, I didn't sleep. I just sat there in the dark, listening to the waves crash outside our balcony while my wife slept soundly beside me, the same wife who had just kissed another man hours ago. It's strange how betrayal doesn't hit all at once. It seeps in slow, like poison. First, it burns. Then, it freezes you. By sunrise, I wasn't angry anymore. I was focused. If Rachel wanted to live a lie, I'd give her the stage to do it. But this time, I'd be the one holding the camera. I started by pretending everything was fine. I made breakfast reservations, cracked jokes, smiled when she looked at me. I became the husband she wanted me to be, quiet, blind, and predictable. She fell for it easily. Cheaters always do. She mentioned she'd be getting a massage later that afternoon. Same excuse, same time. I smiled and told her to enjoy it. Then I waited until she left, slipped out a different door, and made my way around the resort to that hidden cove again. The air was hot, the kind that sticks to your skin. I crouched behind a few rocks, my phone ready, heart beating so hard it hurt. I didn't have to wait long. Rachel arrived, hair tied back, sunglasses on, pretending to blend in. A few minutes later, Javier showed up. His shirt was half open, and the way he looked at her made my blood boil. They talked, laughed, touched, kissed, all while I recorded every second. 3 minutes of footage. That's all it took to erase 3 years of marriage. I walked away shaking, but not from sadness this time, from adrenaline. It felt like holding a loaded weapon, except mine was made of truth. When I got back to the hotel, I transferred the videos to my laptop, made copies, and sent one to my personal email. I wasn't just going to confront her. I was going to destroy the illusion she lived in. By evening, she came back, acting like nothing had happened. "Let's go out tonight," she said. "I want to dance." I smiled. "Sure." We went to a beachfront bar. The music was loud, the lights soft, and her laughter fake. She looked beautiful, glowing in that dim light. And for a moment, I hated that part of me still loved her. But love doesn't survive lies. It just becomes fuel for revenge. I excused myself, said I needed some air. I stepped outside and pulled out my phone. I opened her Instagram. She'd posted a new photo, us at dinner, smiling. Caption, "Forever starts in paradise. #myperson. #blessed." I stared at it for a long moment. Then I uploaded the video. No caption, no explanation, just the truth. It took exactly 6 minutes for her phone to light up inside the bar. She saw it before I did. I watched through the window as she froze, her hand trembling, eyes wide. Then she looked up, right at me. Our eyes met, and for the first time since I caught her, she looked afraid. She came outside, her voice breaking as she whispered, "What did you do?" I didn't answer. I just walked past her, straight toward the hotel lobby. Behind me, I could hear her calling my name, but I didn't stop. I felt light, free almost. When we got back to the room, she tried to play the victim. She cried, screamed, begged, but her tears didn't move me anymore. I told her I'd already emailed the footage to my lawyer, that when we got back home, she wouldn't be Mrs. Drew anymore. She'd just be another woman who threw away her future for a cheap fling. She collapsed onto the bed, sobbing. I didn't feel pity. I just packed my bag in silence. When I walked out, she tried one last time. "Please, we can fix this." I looked at her, the woman who used to be my world. "No," I said quietly. You broke something that doesn't get fixed." I left the room and didn't look back. Outside, the air was heavy with humidity, and the resort lights blurred through my tears. Not the kind of tears you cry for someone else, the kind you cry for yourself when you finally realize the life you built was a lie. I sat by the beach all night. The ocean didn't care, the stars didn't either. But for the first time in months, I felt something close to peace. The next morning, I checked my phone. The video had gone viral. Hundreds of comments, thousands of shares. Some people called me a hero. Others said I went too far. But it didn't matter. I didn't post it for them. I posted it for me. Rachel checked out before noon. She didn't say goodbye. When I boarded my flight home, the seat beside me was empty. And for the first time in years, that felt right. Halfway through the flight, I ordered a drink. The flight attendant asked if I was okay. I smiled, a real one this time, and said, "Yeah, I think I finally am." But the truth is, healing doesn't come easy. It's not like flipping a switch. Some nights, I still wake up hearing the waves, remembering that beach, that kiss, that silence. And sometimes, I still wonder if I could have done things differently. But then I remember what I saw, the way she smiled when she thought I wasn't watching. That's the image that stays. It's been 3 months since Mexico. The divorce papers are signed, the house sold, and her name deleted from everything that used to be ours. I still go to the beach sometimes, not in Mexico, but closer to home. I sit alone, watch the sunset, and remind myself that sometimes losing someone isn't the end, it's the beginning. Because that's what Mexico gave me. Not just betrayal, but clarity. And as I watch the horizon fade, I whisper to myself the same words I said the day I left her behind. You can lie to the world, Rachel, but you can't lie to the truth. It's strange how silence sounds different after everything falls apart. When you've lived through betrayal, you start noticing things you never did before. The quiet hum of the fridge, the creak of the floor when you walk alone, the emptiness of your phone when no one's texting you anymore. That's what my life became after Mexico. Silence. And honestly, it was beautiful. When I got home, I didn't go back to our house. I went straight to my brother's old cabin by the lake. No Wi-Fi, no noise, no reminders of her. Just me, a bottle of whiskey, and the sound of wind moving through the trees. The first few nights were brutal. I'd wake up expecting to hear her beside me. Sometimes I'd even reach out instinctively, only to grab empty air. I'd lie there staring at the ceiling, replaying that moment on the beach like it was burned into my eyelids. I thought I'd feel anger forever, but what came instead was something else: exhaustion. You can't stay angry forever. Eventually it drains out of you until there's nothing left but acceptance. I didn't call Rachel, didn't answer her messages either. She sent dozens at first, begging, apologizing, saying she made a mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. And choices have consequences. When the divorce hearing came, I didn't even speak much. My lawyer had everything: the photos, the videos, the messages. She didn't even try to deny it. She just sat there, head down, while the judge read the decision. When it was over, she tried to catch me outside the courthouse. She looked smaller somehow, not physically, but spiritually, like the person I once loved had vanished, leaving behind only guilt and regret. She said, "Drew, I never meant to hurt you." I looked her straight in the eyes and said quietly, "You didn't hurt me, Rachel. You killed something in me that I'll never get back." Then I walked away. That was the last time I saw her. After the divorce, life slowed down. My job became my therapy. I worked longer hours, hit the gym again, even started running every morning. Every mile felt like shedding another piece of her. But the funny thing about healing is, it doesn't announce itself. One day you just wake up and realize the pain isn't the first thing you feel anymore. It happened one morning in March. I woke up to birds outside the cabin and made coffee. I sat by the window and realized I hadn't thought about her once in days. The memory was still there, but it didn't control me anymore. It just existed, like an old scar. That's when I decided to go back to Mexico. Not to relive the past, but to bury it. When I arrived, the same resort was there. Same ocean, same blue sky, same soft laughter from tourists who didn't know how easily happiness can collapse. I walked down to that same hidden cove, the one where my marriage died. It was empty. The waves moved the same way, the sand still warm under my feet. I stood there for a long time, watching the horizon, remembering everything I'd felt that day. The heartbreak, the disbelief, the rage. And then I forgave her. Not because she deserved it, but because I needed it. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about freeing yourself from the weight they left behind. And that day, standing under the same Mexican sun that once burned my world down, I let it all go. I whispered into the wind, "You don't get to own me anymore." And I swear, the waves seemed to carry it away. That night, I sat at the same bar where she once smiled at me before disappearing to meet him. The bartender asked what I wanted to drink. I said, "Something strong, but not as strong as the past." He laughed, poured the drink, and I toasted silently to the man I used to be, naive, trusting, hopeful. Then I toasted to the man I'd become, wiser, colder, but still standing. Before leaving Mexico, I deleted the last copy of that video from my phone. I didn't need proof anymore. I didn't need revenge. I already had something better, peace. When I came home, I started writing again. Not for fame, not for pity, just to get it all out. The anger, the heartbreak, the lessons. I called it the vacation that broke me. People online read it, shared it, connected with it. They said my story helped them walk away from their own toxic relationships. That's when I realized something powerful. Sometimes your pain becomes someone else's map to healing. It's been a year now. I live in a smaller apartment downtown. Simple, quiet. I cook for myself, travel alone, and every weekend I drive to the beach. I don't hate her anymore. I don't love her either. She's just part of a story that's over. Last week, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, just my name on the front. Inside was a short note. It said, "I saw your story. I hope you're happy now. R." I folded it once, smiled, and tossed it into the fireplace. I didn't need her words anymore. Happiness doesn't come from fixing what broke you. It comes from walking away and not looking back. I stood there, watching the flames swallow that piece of paper, and I realized something I'd never said out loud before. Thank you, Rachel, for setting me free. Because the truth is, if she hadn't betrayed me, I'd still be living a lie. If she hadn't destroyed our marriage, I'd still be convincing it was perfect. Her betrayal ended us, but it started me. So now, when people ask about Mexico, I just smile and say, that place taught me the difference between love and loyalty. I still believe in love. I still believe in honesty. But now, I believe in myself first. And every time I see the ocean, the same endless blue that once held my pain, I remember that even the strongest storms eventually calm. Because sometimes, losing everything is the only way to find yourself again. And I did. My name is Drew, and Mexico didn't break me. It built the man I was always meant to be. I